Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 72. Andrew Eisen here, along with E. Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello.
And
I'm
hello,
finally
Susie,
here.
Warren, Andreas, Metal Dave, and hey, man, everyone else in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello, everybody.
don't do that. Don't do that, or you get
Yeah, I think
banned.
that's
That's not good. You get one chance. I know you're just playing around, but don't do that. So, Uh, if I'm probably going to cut most of this out for the actual live videos. So just a point of order, there will be no podcast next weekend, the 4th of November, because next weekend is the Extra Life charity event. Um, so, uh, but, do come for that because that'll be a lot of fun. It's 24 hours straight gaming. I'll be here streaming the entire time. So anytime during the day you want to stop by and say hello is fine. I'll be doing it to raise money for the local Children's Miracle Network Hospital, which here in San Diego is the Rady Children's Hospital. Great hospital. Comes highly recommended by the children who are there and the parents who take them, I guess. No, seriously, I've talked to a lot of. I didn't grow up in California, and I don't have kids, so I've never used it myself. But I've spoken to a lot of people who have taken their kids there, and it does come highly recommended. So, real quickly, if you'd like to donate, just go to extralife.org, type in Andrew Eisen. You'll find my fundraising page. I've got a lot of fun donation incentives and stretch goals. We're almost so my goal this year is $1,000. Almost halfway there. I think it's at 476 right now. So if we make $500, I'll go an extra hour. And if we hit $1,000, I'll wear this dress. Isn't this lovely? Had to actually cheat a little bit because I can't actually zip it up all the way because I'm a bit too broad, I guess. Actually, I had two
You're
dresses.
too broad to wear a dress from abroad. A broad's dress, I guess.
Yeah, but actually, I had two dresses that my sister brought me, and one I seriously just could not get into. I actually got stuck, and I had to get her help, and I ripped the dress because it's not. Well, to be fair, it's not built for someone of my physique. So,
Yeah.
but
Just
we,
gotten a moo-moo.
yeah, well, we got a. So I'm gonna have to wear a something underneath and like a tight shirt under, like, what the hell is it called, a camisole, what's the word I'm looking for? Kelly, but it's the word for a shirt that goes under a dress. Camisole. Yeah, camisole. Thank you. Those are noise canceling headphones. Jeez. Noise canceling, or she's not paying attention to me. Andreas, it's extra-life.org. Yeah, so I should probably clarify that. Here, I'll give you all a link. extralife.org/participant/Andrew Eisen. There you go. Did that not work? I think that put an extra space in there, but I think you guys get the idea. So yeah, extralife.org. Extra Life has a hyphen between it. So extralife.org/participant/Andrew Eisen, EISEN, will take you straight to the page. Got some cool donation incentives, some fun stretch goals in there, including the wear a dress during the show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. My sister will be here. Super Metal Dave is going to drop by for a couple hours Saturday evening, about 5 to 7 Pacific Standard Time. So I'll be playing from noon to noon the following day. I'm pretty sure we're going to hit $500. So that will extend the marathon to 25 hours, which means noon to Saturday to noon the following Sunday, because there's the time change because of daylight savings. I'll be playing a lot of Super Mario Odyssey. My sister and I are going to play through the demo of Snipper Clips. I think that'll be fun. There's a game called Until Dawn, which is like a choose-your-own-adventure slasher game. So it's like 8 kids in a isolated cabin, and you make the choices to try and get them to survive the night. And like games like Heavy Rain, the game never game overs. It just keeps going if your characters die. So you can get through the entire game and get all your characters killed or have them all survive. So I think that'll be a fun one to play for a bit during the stream. It's just, Dave says, will my sister be serving beer? I don't drink, so I've got like water. I mean, I could make you like either a fruit smoothie or like a vegetable smoothie, because that's what I drink other than water. We can get something. Matthew says, best bet you kill them all. Yeah, we'll probably try to do that. I actually don't know if the game allows you to sit there and consider your choices, or if there's a timer, like you have to make it real quick. If it's something that we can, if it sits there and just forever until you decide what you want to do, should you take the flare gun for yourself or give it to Larry? I don't know if that's timed. If it's not timed, we can have some fun with the chat and bring you guys in on the decisions. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll have some snacks or something. So that's next Saturday, so I hope you'll join me for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that's really all that's been occupying my mind for the last week. Oh, other than that, tomorrow I'm going up to Big Bear to participate in the Spartan race, which is essentially like a 3-mile obstacle course. So, climb the wall, climb the rope, crawl under the barbed wire, throw a javelin at a stack of hay. So, just carry a bucket of rocks up a hill, things like that. So that should be fun. The problem is you can't really train for it because they won't tell you what the obstacles are. The only thing they'll tell you, they say, if you can't do an obstacle, you got to do 30 burpees. And it's like, I'll do the obstacle, thanks, because after a while that would really get to me. If you don't know what a burpee is, stand up straight, then jump down into push-up position, do a push-up, and then jump back up and jump in the air. That's one. That gets tiring very quickly.
Yeah.
So, and I have to, I got to leave at like 4:45 in the morning to get up there. Not really looking forward to that. So, organizing the Extra Life charity event, preparing for this thing, that's been all I've been doing.
Taking all of your time, huh?
Yeah. So, which is why you have most of the news this week, because I haven't been paying attention. Also, work has just been a pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are moving from version 7 to version 8 of our software. Actually, just one of them. We're doing like a system-wide change on something, and it's a big project. And we have a new project manager who's like, "You can just test it and ship it, right?" I was like, "No, that's not the way it works." No, first I have to figure out what it's supposed to do, and then I have to figure out if that's really smart, and then I have to figure out if it's doing that. And then I write a list of all the things that ain't doing right. This isn't a day thing. She's like, oh, so we're gonna release next week, right? No, like end of November maybe for the testers. Yeah. Anyway, Andreas says, which is harder, 30 burpees or 30 burps? That would have to be one painful burp for it to be burps. So I'd go with burpees. Yeah. Dave does the Insanity Max 30 workouts 5 days a week. It takes months of practice to get your endurance up. I don't know what Insanity Max is, but that, if the name is anything to go by, it sounds hardcore.
Yeah, Matthew asks about the Kotaku article on Visceral's closing, and yeah, that's one of the topics I sent to Andrew. I believe.
Sounds like it, yeah. You didn't actually send a link, but you just
I didn't send the link, but yeah, there's some pretty crazy stuff in there. But one specific thing that I thought was pretty interesting to talk about.
Well, you want to talk about that one now?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's jump right into it. So, it's your story, and I know nothing about it, so go ahead.
All right. Well, as most everybody knows, EA closed Visceral last week, and these are the people who did the Dead Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Space games, and
And
they also
Battlefield
did
Hardline.
Battlefield Hardline, which was a kind of it was a and according to the Kotaku article, it was a game they were not prepared to work on, because that's not the type of game they had made in the past. But that's all beside the thing. But the Kotaku had a really great expose on this whole thing. They talked to about a dozen developers who worked there, all anonymously. Nobody wanted to talk on the record because they didn't want to. They didn't want to screw themselves out of future jobs, which I completely understand. But yeah, they talked about how, so a lot of the troubles they had where they first started working on a I don't know how to describe the game, but it was a Star Wars game, and it was going to have combination of space battles and adventure stuff on on planets and things. It was going to be a pretty big game, but that got kind of sidelined when they were pretty much commanded to make Battlefield Hardline. And then so eventually they got back to working on a Star Wars game because I need to pull up this article because I'm not remembering names like I should. But they started working back on a Star Wars game, and they did this because they had they brought on the lead story director, she worked on the first 3 Uncharted games. She was basically their story. She was in charge of everything that had to deal with the story and the world and all of that. Let me make sure I get her name right. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, she.
Ooh, Matthew and I got it at the same time. Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, I just now got the article pulled up, but yeah, Amy Hennig, and she, from what I gather from reading this article, she did mostly a good job doing what she could, but the whole structure and everything from EA just kind of really started working against her or working against the entire team. But one of their biggest issues was that EA dictated that they had to use the Frostbite engine, and the Frostbite engine is what is used to make the Battlefield games, and it's specifically designed for first-person shooter games, and it was not at all anything that they could use without extensive modification to make a third-person action game like Uncharted, and so that was one of their really big issues. But something that really stuck out to me and a number of other people that I follow that read this story was specifically, let me find the quote here real quick. All right, it says, according to one source, EA was okay. And then this is talking about some of their stuff that was going on, and EA EA came in and said according to one source, EA was pressuring Visceral to hit a 90 or higher on Metacritic, and
that's asking a lot.
That is asking a lot. It says, but the Ragtag team, Ragtag being the code name of the game they were working on, knew that even under the best circumstances, that would be impossible. Other similar games across the industry, like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, and even the first Uncharted, were viewed as first steps, games that could be used as stepping stones to reach the heights of something like Uncharted 2. Reaching 90 plus on Metacritic was pretty much unattainable. We didn't have the foundation. We didn't have 13 to 14 years building a single engine doing this specific game like Naughty Dog did. When you look at it at that, you can't just assume we're going to leapfrog Uncharted 4. It's impossible. And this was something that I read and I was just floored. You know, if they were making Dead Space 4, I could understand EA saying, I want you guys to do your best to get a 90 plus on Metacritic, because they had the experience with Dead Space beforehand. They made 3 of those and some offshoot games, and if they were able to build off of what they had done in the past, I could understand them trying to shoot for that 90 plus, even though as dictates from a publisher, it's the incredibly stupid way of gauging a game's success. But this is a completely unproven project with a team that was understaffed. The management structure wasn't as good as it probably should have been, and they were pretty much crunching the entire 3 years they had been working on what they eventually demoed out. They had a short clip basically at E3, and then they showed in the Kotaku article, they said they showed a couple of or 3 demo levels to EA executives who weren't really feeling it when it came out. But that Metacritic thing, this Metacritic has cropped up in the past because a lot of publishers use that as the rubric for bonuses. It's like if you don't get an 85 or higher on Metacritic, you don't get your bonus. And I always found that to be a really stupid thing to do, a really jerk thing to do.
I haven't heard anyone do this, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. But are you aware of any movie studio using Rotten Tomatoes in a similar vein?
No, I'm not aware of any movie
I've not heard of that either, but it would not at all surprise me if one of the larger studios actually tried that. Then again, they usually make their own films. They don't. Well, I mean, if you had one film like
they have to pay out royalties to certain people in the production, like some actors or most actors, I guess, and music artists and various other people. They have to get paid out bonuses based on profits, and movie studios have done some pretty shady things in order to avoid paying out royalties. Like one of the biggest stories of the most recent 5 to 10 years in that vein is that the guy who played the guy whose face was revealed as Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi,
Sebastian Shaw, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was him. Maybe it was the actor. I forget.
Shoot, am I thinking of the guy who plays Winter Soldier? Shoot.
Yeah, Sebastian Shaw. Yeah, that's the Winter Soldier. But the guy who played Darth Vader has never received any royalties off of.
David Prowse was in the costume.
But he never received any royalties off this because technically, Return of the Jedi has never made a profit, and the way movie studios do that is they create shell corporations that it's the corporation that is technically in running the show for the movie studios, and they have to pay royalties up to the movie studios, and it's like some big spider web of money laundering essentially in order to avoid having to pay out as royalties like they should, and it's kind of crazy. I don't know if any movie studios are doing that these days, but that was one of the very common things that they did in the past. And so, yeah, it doesn't surprise me when game publishers make demands like that to avoid paying out royalties to game developers. And it's one of the reasons why I don't know why anybody would actually partner with a publisher with that kind of history.
No, it was Sebastian Shaw.
Is it?
Yeah, well, who the hell plays Bucky? Wait, Sebastian Stan?
I don't know.
Stan, right? Okay.
Oh, okay.
We got our Sebastian straight now. Continue.
All right, but yeah, it's big publishers, whether it's movies or television or labels, music labels, and I guess even book publishers, they all do all kinds of crazy stuff to avoid paying royalties to the people who actually create the content that they're making money off of. And I don't think that EA's demand that they make a 90 plus is partly probably because of bonuses, but also because as you read that Kotaku article, Visceral was a very expensive studio to operate. They were based in, was it San Francisco or San Diego? I forget.
I didn't hear it was here, but
no, San Francisco. Okay. Yeah, so based in San Francisco, and they said that a single developer costs up to like $16,000 a month on pay, insurance, all the other benefits, and all of that stuff, because it was really expensive. And they were EA was created. EA Vancouver, which was supposed to be able to help out on Visceral's games, and because working in Vancouver is a lot cheaper, so yeah, it was a whole bunch of stuff just really came out of that, out of the woodwork to kill this. And reading this article, to me too, it kind of it clears up all of the our AAA single player games dead discussions from last week, because the fact that the game was a single player game really didn't have much to do with Visceral's closing. If you read this article, it's all has to do with the fact that pretty much everything just kind of turned against Visceral and prevented them from making a good game. But yeah.
Matthew says, "Why would you put a games dev studio in San Francisco? You deserve."
Why would you put any business in San Francisco?
Because that's where everything is, I guess. I don't know. I've been to San Francisco, and it's not where I want to be. I hate the city. I mean, the people are fine. I don't mind the people at all. I just really hate. I visited San Francisco. I had a friend there, and I got into the city, and I immediately was like, I don't want to be here. I want to get out of the city. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Just because it's like New York, really. It's just crowded. You can't drive around. It's built weird, so it's, unless you know the place really well, it's hard to get around. Really, if you're going to visit San Francisco, stay away from San Francisco big city. Hit the outer areas like Walnut Creek or something like that, and park, and then bus or train into San Francisco and use trolleys and walk around. You'll have a much more pleasant time.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend driving in any big city, but yeah.
And everyone eats rice-a-roni because it's the treat of San Francisco. Ding ding. Very, very nice, Dave. I like that.
Yeah. But
talent is there, but they would move if offered a job. Yes. Although I actually, with my background in IGN, I know a lot of the people there, and I know they do really like it. Even though I know some of them train the BART. A
Yeah.
lot of them come in from. They have hellish commutes.
Oh yeah. I imagine that San Francisco's commutes are pretty bad just because it is super expensive to live in city limits. Um, and so yeah, everybody lives in the suburbs and neighboring towns because it's cheaper.
Oh yeah. Almost no one can afford to actually live in San Francisco, the big city across the
Yeah.
bay. And don't ever take a cab there. I almost died. Did I do a video? No, I did a blog post years ago on my adventures in San Francisco. I was actually interviewing for a job at IGN at the time, and took a cab to where IGN used to be way back in '06 or whenever that was, and this guy just did not seem to know his way around. Drove past the correct exit several times, got off the wrong exit, drove up a freeway on ramp, or drove up an off ramp rather, stopped at a green light, and then had the audacity of actually charging me. I'm like, no, I'm not paying for this. But yeah, this was before. Yeah, Matthew, this was before Uber.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
Luckily, I think Mark Ryan gave me a ride back to the airport because I don't want to take a cab. I'm afraid. It was hilarious because I was supposed to be there. That was the first time I was at IGN. I didn't get to meet anyone except like Mark Ryan and Tal, who were interviewing me. No, I think Dave Perry was there at the time, just working late. But I didn't get to meet anyone because the workday was over. They were so nice to actually sit there and wait for my dumbass. It was kind of amazing. But since then I've been back since then, and a bunch of cool cats work there. So anyway, there's my San Francisco story. Don't try to drive there or take a cab. In fact, just stay away from San Francisco unless you get a job there. A job is pretty much the only reason I want, other than a friend I have who lives up there. The job is like the only reason I want to be up there.
Yeah.
But still, visceral, talented bunch of people who made some great games, and I would say, despite EA trying to ruin them, which became really apparent, especially with like Dead Space 3. And I hope they all land on their feet and make more great games.
Hopefully,
because they're good at it.
Apparently, a sizable number of developers hightailed it out of there long before EA shut them down. So
yeah, I imagine. Well, EA's had them for a long time now, and I imagine it just as soon as they had an opportunity to go somewhere else, several of them did.
Yeah, and that was one of the things.
Kind of like when Microsoft bought Rare. A lot of the main crew that made Rare skedaddled.
Yeah, and that's one of the hard things about buying a studio is that when a publisher buys a studio, they're buying the name, they're buying the IPs that studio owns.
Mm-hmm.
But they also want the people that make that studio the studio, and a lot of times those people will leave unless it's specifically in the buyout contract that certain people have to stick around for the first couple of years or the first game release or something, but yeah, it's not too often that people will stick around when somebody buys them out, especially the owners.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I suppose it depends on the circumstances and who's doing the buy-in and whether the employees have any other options. Anyway, so you had another story with Microsoft and backwards compatibility.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Microsoft has been in the news as well, which is kind of funny too. They've had a number of things going on recently. They shut down Kinect. They tried to,
it officially ceased production.
Yeah, the Kinect is.
And everyone said, "The what?" Oh yeah. That thing
It's like,
that nobody ever wanted and didn't buy? Yeah.
yeah,
I
the thing
remember
that
that.
you had to just remove from the launch
The
SKU
Xbox
so that
One.
people
Yeah.
could save $100.
Oh man, did Microsoft bork the launch of the Xbox One in
Oh yeah,
every possible way.
yeah, yeah. They boned that Xbone launch, but
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
you know what? The funniest thing about the X, hey, Codename. The funniest thing about the Xbox One to me is every time I see a news article with Xbox One in the name, or someone says, or like someone brings up the Xbox One, my mind is like, the Xbox One. Oh yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? I don't know why it's so mean, and I don't say that to be a jerk or anything, but I just so don't think of the Xbox One ever. It's just
yeah,
it's like the Wonder
it's
Swan, you know? It's like remember the oh yeah,
the
or
Wonder
the
Swan.
Nokia N-Gage. Yeah, I remember that thing.
Yeah,
It's like if those were still a thing that was actually in the market, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's still a thing. Yeah, it is at the Xbox
yeah,
One, sure. But
yeah. But
I think a lot of it
aside
has to
from
do with the Xbox One doesn't really have a whole hell of a lot of software to
yeah, there's not a lot of
differentiate
games that
itself from anything else because what's on
yeah,
Xbox One is also on Windows 10 for the most part. So
yeah. It's like the only thing that really, even to this day, the only thing that I've seen that I just really want to play is the Rare Replay collection, and it's just
yeah,
and,
there's a few things that you can point to the Xbox One.
yeah.
Killer Instinct. Well, I think that's moved to Windows 10 now, hasn't it?
I don't know if that's on Windows yet or not. I don't
Uh,
know. It
I'd have
might
to
be.
look. I forget.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, there's a few games on there, and Connect Sports. Yeah, I actually have a Connect for the 360, and Connect Sports is one of the games that I have. I don't. I'm trying to remember if I what other Connect games I
what
own.
was that like
But
virtual little boy Connect game that they demoed way the hell back? It's like a 10-year-old
uh,
boy and you'd yell at him through the Connect and hand him pictures and stuff. I
I
forget what
don't know
that
what that
was, but
is. That
I don't even
does
know if
not
that
sound
came out.
familiar. Yeah.
It's like
Um,
Milo or something. I don't
yeah,
remember.
I don't remember that. But aside from the Connect, the other
Was it Milo? Yeah.
the truly biggest debacle they had in their announcement at E3 was
This year?
the no, with the launch of the Xbox
Oh,
One
okay.
when they initially announced it at E3 was their DRM scheme, which
Yes.
required it to always be online, and you couldn't play used games on it.
Wait,
And
the thing that has a camera and a microphone always staring at me has to always be
yeah,
online?
exactly.
That doesn't
Um,
fill me with the confidence.
yeah, and so this was a that the Connect and this DRM were the two biggest things, or two biggest debacles. Seriously, that's all they are, is debacles. That EA or Microsoft did, and and that led up to the 600, was it $600 price tag or 500? I forget. But it was $100 more than the PS3 or the PS4,
Mhm.
which Sony was so happy that they got to announce the PS4 after the Xbox One, because if you guys probably remember, they did these videos, like how to share games on the PS4. Would you like to borrow this game? Yes, I would. It was great. And But just this week, we learned some very important news because this past week, Microsoft announced that the Xbox One is now backwards compatible with the original Xbox games. They did Xbox 360 games last year, or the year before. I forget the exact time frame for that one. But this past week, they finally announced that certain games from the original Xbox You can't call it the Xbox One because it's just, you have to call it the original Xbox, which drives me nuts.
The first Xbox.
Yeah, the first Xbox. Um, and so they, over at IGN, there was a an interview with Ryan, or sorry, not, oh goodness, I need to start making sure I have my name straight here. Um, oh goodness, Kevin LaChapelle, software engineer. He was a software engineer for the Xbox One. He was the one who did the he got backwards compatibility ready to go on the Xbox One, and this is what we learn about backwards compatibility. It says the fan first. This is IGN. It says the fan first feature has evolved from an experiment conducted by two separate Microsoft research teams into a service planned for Xbox One's launch, complete with hardware hooks baked into the Durango silicon until. Okay, this is the key part. Until the well publicized changes to the Xbox One policies, namely stripping out the always online requirement for the console, forced it to be pushed to the back burner. So we could have gotten backwards compatibility a lot sooner had either one, nobody freaked out about the always online DRM, and
Rightfully freaked out, I would opine.
Yeah, if nobody freaked out about it, we could have gotten backwards compatibility a lot sooner. Or if Microsoft had just never included that stupid DRM in the first place, we could have gotten backwards compatibility a heck of a lot sooner.
And that probably would have been a significant boon for Microsoft.
Oh, it would have, because the PS4 doesn't have backwards compatibility, and
not in the sense of sticking in PS3 games and getting them to play.
Yeah, or PS2 or PS1 games. And they go on to say, he goes on to say is that we had to go back and redo a lot of work that we weren't anticipating at this point in the program. It's actually extremely difficult to change. It's a totally different purchase flow. It's a totally different UI. We have to think about security differently, permitting customers when they can be offline and have to be online. It's actually pretty complex. So he's going on to say that that just stripping out that DRM touched so much of the Xbox One software and hardware that they basically had to drop everything to get rid of it. There was no just flip the switch or anything. They had to actually rewrite extensive parts of the UI and the operating system. And yeah, that is crazy. It boggles my mind that Microsoft even thought that DRM was a good idea in the first place, but that it was that ingrained into the Xbox One. That is insane.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing that that was pretty short-sighted and of Microsoft, and amazing that it just completely misread the room on that one. I am genuinely stunned that Microsoft. I understand why it wanted to do that, but I'm stunned that Microsoft didn't say, "Yeah, this ain't gonna fly. No one's gonna like this." I'm actually surprised that. I mean, I guess they kind of. I was gonna say, I was surprised that it included Kinect. Like they were trying to force Kinect to be a thing, even though gamers pretty clearly said we don't want it or like it. I mean, at least Sony said, okay, you don't care about Move, fine. You can use it for VR then. Knock yourselves out. And that's fine. But Microsoft was, I mean, they dumped a lot of money in it, so I understand why they felt they had to. But yeah, that always on thing was really ill-advised.
Yeah, extremely. Oh, but yeah, I just, those two stories this week were the ones that just really made me just go, made me, do a sideways glance and just, it's like, really? you
Well,
know?
the thing
Um,
about backwards compatibility rarely holds much appeal for me because I'm an older
you
gamer.
keep your,
And
you
I
keep your
keep all my old
consoles and,
systems. So if I
yeah,
want to play an old game, I just stick it into the console.
yeah,
So backwards compatibility, and it doesn't mean it has no value. It's just for me, it's not very important. But I think there's one more topic we can hit today, and that is the
yeah.
new Animal Crossing game for mobile, which is Pocket Picnic? No. Pocket Park? No. Pocket
Pocket
Camp.
camping. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a.
pocket camp. Yeah.
You see, I was just amazed that they didn't call it Animal Crossing Happy Campers, because that's a good name.
Yeah, then it makes sense. It rolls off the tongue. It's something that people are familiar with. But Pocket Camp just sounds so weird, and
I understand why they
it's
want
actually kind of
Pocket.
off-putting because it's that awkward of
Yeah,
of a
it's
phrase.
awkward. It doesn't roll off the
Yeah,
tongue, which is why I can't keep it in my head. Pocket Camp just doesn't work. I mean, I understand why they want the word pocket in there because they want to differentiate that
yeah,
this is the mobile version of Animal Crossing. But I would have gone for alliteration, like Pocket Park or something like that. But um,
yeah,
my sister's very excited for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
yeah.
Um,
My brothers were really into Animal Crossing, or at least one of them was, and he had it for the GameCube, I think, and then he also had the Game Boy Advance one, and you could connect the Game Boy Advance to the GameCube, and stuff transferred between the two.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
using the Game Boy Advance, you could get to like a small island or something like that.
yeah,
I was actually kind of surprised by what appears to be the scope of the mobile game, because I was thinking about what they might do with Animal Crossing Mobile beforehand, and I figured, are they going to do something like Happy Home Designer, which they did a year or so ago, which was basically a very stripped down version of Animal Crossing in which you um, decorate a homes for the various
yeah,
animals, and it wasn't much more beyond that. And I thought, well, they've already done that, and I can't imagine them doing less than that.
yeah,
But this is actually a lot closer to a fully featured animal. It at least seems
yeah.
to be a lot closer to a fully featured
From
animal than I
so
expected.
a number of news outlets got a hold of early copies of this because the game's already out in Australia, and so
I that was a
a lot of
mistake, wasn't it?
publication.
Didn't they pull it back? I mean, a bunch of people
I
got
didn't
it, but
read. Yeah, I didn't read anything about Nintendo pulling it from release there, but I know like Polygon, Kotaku, and a couple other news outlets. They changed their locations on their phones and and access the Australian iTunes store or Google App Store and downloaded the game and yeah, you basically you run the camp and you and what you build and buy and stuff makes the camp better and
yes,
more
because
enjoyable
every
for all the
campsite
people.
needs a couch.
Yeah.
And what was hilarious is the video starts out, it's like, and now you are the manager of a campsite. I'm like, okay. But it's kind of a dull, empty campsite. So we need to spruce it up a bit. And I was sitting there watching it. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you need a couch right in the middle of the campsite. And they totally made a couch. I was like, called it. Of course, I was smirking beforehand that Animal Crossing Mobile is going to be Animal Crossing, only now you owe Tom Nook real money.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been playing Stardew Valley. I guess that's
Mhm.
the closest uh, game that I could come up with that has anything like Animal Crossing. But uh, I don't know. I'm not really that interested in getting the mobile game.
Uh,
I've never played the Animal Crossing games before, and my phone doesn't have a whole lot of storage. It's only got 8 gigs of onboard
Ooh,
storage,
that's a good point. I wonder what
and
the size of this sucker is going
uh,
to be.
based on a comment from one of Kotaku's authors who downloaded it, it's over 300 megs. Um,
That's
so nearly 400 megs, and yeah, so I'm not going to
fair
be able
amount.
to play it
Yeah.
because I don't have the room, and a lot of games like that won't play off of my SD card. I think I have a too my I think my SD card's too slow for most games, and but it yeah, I because I did the Fire Emblem Heroes, like I downloaded that one when it first came out, and I was like, oh sweet, and I played through the tutorial, and then it was like, oh, you need to download another 400 megs of information to keep playing. I'm like, screw
What?
that, uninstall.
Do not want.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't have the space for that. I wouldn't be able to update any of my apps if I downloaded this game. So,
So it's I it's fine. It does some of the typical mobile things like okay, I got all the materials for you to build my swimming pool, which I need in my campsite, and
yeah.
Larry the goat or whoever the heck it is like, okay, I will build you your swimming pool because you have provided me the materials that you've either found or traded other stuff with the animal villagers to get the right stuff that I need to build your pool, or you bought it with leaf tickets, which you purchased for real money. Well, you can also, get leaf tickets in the game. It's like, all right, I'm going to build you a pool. It's going to take 3 real days. But, if you give me some leaf tickets, which you could buy with real money, I may be able to build it faster. Who knows? So that's the
I
way it
love the
kind of
accent
works.
there. That's
Yeah,
great.
so that's the way it
Yeah.
kind of works. I also found it kind of funny that the first couch that they build, the materials required for the couch is wool. I'm like, just wool? No, you don't need like wood
Wood
or
for
nails or
frame.
anything. Like,
Yeah.
not a whole couch made out of wool. I'm like, really? And then they go through a couple other things that you can build, but the way the way the phone screen is framed in the video is it cuts off right where the ingredients list or the materials required list is, so you can't see what's actually required for the subsequent items that they're demoing.
Yeah.
So I sat there watching it, kind of giggling to myself, imagining that everything they showed was made out of wool. They're like, and a bird bath, I'm like, made out of wool, and a cactus, I'm like, made out of wool. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not exactly the case, but one thing I'm not sure of is how do you think this game controls? Do you just drag your finger around and your character follows where your finger is? Or do you think they're doing like
Possibly.
an
Or
on-screen control stick type
oh,
thing?
I don't.
Which I
Nintendo does not come across as an on-screen, um, like on-screen buttons type
yeah,
controls type, company. I would assume you either drag your finger or you just tap and move, um, which is way
yeah.
better.
The video looks like the character's being, controlled. It doesn't look like it's following taps unless you're dragging your finger around and it just
Yeah.
kind of. It'd be interesting to see how it controls and if it controls well. My sister says Animal Crossing is so awesome that she'd gladly erase Pokemon Go for it. And Dave Snark says, "So you were saying that Pokemon can go?"
Go. Yeah.
Ah, very nice, Dave. I like it.
Yeah.
There's also some new stuff in the game. You don't have a house, but you have a camper, which is like a mini house, which you can
Yeah.
also build an upper deck for, which is cool. I'm like, can you build can we just get a pocket dimension and get a basement in there too? I don't know. Little
That
side add-ons. I don't know.
a little
There's
cellar
also
built
a
next to it.
relationship meter that you can fill with all the different animals. And I'm like, oh God, are we doing Animal Crossing dating sim? Can I get in a relationship with all the animal residents? If I visit your camp and get close to some of your animals, will they move out and come to my camp? Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
seeing all the animals. Whee! Maybe
Yeah,
that's not where Nintendo's going with this. It's just
probably
friendship.
not.
It's
You know,
just
there's
friendship
probably
represented by
like,
hearts.
yeah,
Nothing wrong.
it's probably perks where the better friends you are with someone, maybe the better deal you can get with trades,
Right. The
or
more
they give
bells
you
they'll give you,
gifts or
the more
whatever.
fruit or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably what it is. But yeah, you kind of you briefly
KK Slider
mentioned.
is already naked, codename Z.
Yeah. But you had mentioned this, but specifically Nintendo announced that this is going to be a game where you can visit other players' camps, and they can
Yes.
visit yours, and there is going to be some social interaction there, which it's kind of will be kind of interesting.
No word yet on if you can you can go and you can visit and you can uh trade stuff, like if they have the butterflies or rocks or whatever that you need, you can buy it from them. You can also give kudos, which is illustrated by you going yay and the other character going yes, yes, I'm awesome, thank you. No idea what kudos actually does, if anything, but
Yeah.
what I'm interested to find out is how I can screw up my friend's camp. Like, can I dig holes? Can I pick the flowers? Can I chop down the trees? Can I woo all
Yeah.
their animals away to my camp? Yeah. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
See, these are the things I wonder when I watch Nintendo's Nintendo Directs.
Yeah. But Nintendo has come a long way since that Me game they made, Miitopia. Is that what it was
Yes,
called?
yes,
Yeah.
Miitopia.
They've come a long way since that.
Miitomo. Well, there is a Miitopia, but the Miitomo mobile game
Miitomo
is
was
what
the
you're
mobile
thinking of.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, they that game when it came out, everybody played it because it was Nintendo's first mobile game. But it
And
got
said,
old like
okay.
really fast.
And
Like
then
I gave it the first month, because they said that things were going to be rolling out over the course of that month, and yeah, at the end of the month nothing significant had changed, and I said, okay, that was a fun little romp. I'm done with it. I uninstalled it and haven't installed it again. um, but I played the demo for Super Mario Run,
yeah,
and that was good. I
yeah,
thought
I
it
like
played
that.
really well. But
I was surprised at how well that played. Yeah.
yeah, but again, $10. I wasn't ready to drop $10 on it.
Uh,
They
it's more than I
recently
want to play for a mobile game, but I
um,
thought it was for what it is. I thought that was a
yeah, ten
fairly
bucks was
decent
a yeah,
price.
$10 was a reasonable price. It was a
Yeah,
fair price. I just wasn't in the mood to spend $10 on it. Um, but they recently had a sale on that too, like a
yeah,
50%
dropped it
off
to five
sale.
bucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Um,
again, it's always online. DRM is what keeps me from buying the game.
yeah.
It's if I'd like to play the game, but I'm just like, no, there's absolutely zero reason that game needs to always be online in its single player mode.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary, and I don't like it. And what's interesting is it's not a problem for me because where I live, my phone is always online, so it wouldn't be like I would run into an instance that I couldn't play the game. It's just
Yeah.
the principle of the thing.
Well, I would, because I've got Sprint, and Sprint has terrible rural coverage, and so if I drive more than 20-30 miles outside of a city, any sizable city, I'm pretty much um, at the whims of the gods. Uh, but whether I have a signal or not. And then Fire Emblem Heroes. I briefly mentioned that one because the tutorial was pretty good. I would have loved to continue playing it if the game just wasn't so freaking big. It was Fire Emblem Heroes is the type of game that I would have enjoyed playing more, because I played. Square did Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, uh, and I had played that for a while until I accidentally deleted my save file, and I said, "Well, I'm done now." I was clearing cache and stuff on my phone, and and they yeah, I hate Android and the way it handles things. It's like
Yeah.
you delete data and it's like everything, and including save files and stuff. And I'm like, well, that sucked.
Yeah, Fire
But
Emblem didn't really do it for me, and I'm not sure I've never played Fire Emblem, so I wasn't sure if the mobile game's lack of appeal
I've
was Fire
played.
Emblem or if it was just the way the mobile game, because I felt like there was no strategy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think this one, the mobile game, was fairly like they simplified a lot, uh, from normal handheld Fire Emblem or Game Boy Fire Emblem, but I've played a little bit of Fire Emblem. I played a little bit of Advanced War, and I liked those games. I thought they were a lot of fun. Very similar to Shining Force on Sega Genesis. Um, and I enjoyed what I've played of Shining Force. So, yeah, Fire Emblem was something I was willing to give a chance. But no,
yeah, I was willing to give it a chance. I just didn't really care for the mobile game because
yeah,
I think it's really just the limitations of the mobile game that kept it from feeling very strategic. I mean, it feels like just a battle of attrition more than you have to
yeah,
be of proper level or you can't win.
yeah,
Also, it does a thing where it's like, okay, you move first. It's like, but I can't move. The only thing I can do, let me put that a different way. Uh, the opponent will not move. It sets you up so you can't reach your opponent on the first turn, but your opponent will not move until you move into striking range, which is like, so you just need characters who can tank a hit.
yeah,
Okay, so get a character who can tank a hit and is powerful enough to beat him in on the next go round. There's just not a whole hell of a lot of strategy to it, at least the mobile game. So
yeah.
I was hoping that Fire Emblem Warriors, the Switch and 3DS game that just came out, I was
Hmm.
hoping that that would be a good gateway into the Fire Emblem universe for me, because I really liked Hyrule Warriors. I
Yeah,
was already into Zelda, so that wasn't the Zelda gateway for me. Hyrule Warriors was my gateway into Warriors. So I was hoping that Fire Emblem Warriors would be my gateway into Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem Warriors just really looks terrible to me. So I'm
yeah,
not interested in it. So, ugh.
yeah, yeah. I really need to get, you know, once I'm ready to upgrade my phone, I'm going to be getting a phone that has a sizable built-in storage.
Hmm.
Probably something with 32 gigs, because I just hate having only 400 megs of usable space on my phone. And then buy a really, really, really good SD card to go in it. Because, like I said, the SD card I have in there, I think it's not it's not the class that you really want to run apps off of. It's good for storage, even though sometimes my phone doesn't communicate with it very well, and I lose pictures occasionally. But yeah, I can't even put music on it and have my phone read the music on the SD card, which really ticked me off when I found that out. But no, well,
So let's see. We've got Pokemon Go doesn't count, but
yeah.
Miitomo, Fire
Hmm.
Emblem, Mario Run, and Animal Crossing. So there should be a fifth one. Do we think it's going to be Legend of Zelda?
Oh, I don't know if they would go with Zelda on mobile. I think, well, yeah, I'm sure if they did make a Zelda game, it would be a good one. But it doesn't seem like the type of franchise that they would put on a mobile device. But
Yeah, not maybe not unless if they did, they'd probably do something fairly different with it on mobile
yeah,
devices.
because I'm just
That's
trying
the
to think
interesting
of
thing to
what
me
it
though
would
is
be.
Fire Emblem and Mario are definitely Fire Emblem and Mario, but they're definitely mobile versions of the game.
Oh yeah,
They're very different from the console counterparts while still being recognizably Fire Emblem and Mario.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing just seems kind of like a Animal Crossing on mobile. It doesn't seem to be a, although that's kind of what Animal Crossing is just kind of a casual game that
Yeah.
you might find on mobile or Facebook or something like that. Advanced War would be cool as his codename, but that's a little similar to Fire Emblem. Well, actually, it's
Yeah.
nothing like Fire Emblem, really. It's just they're both kind of strategy games. But I
Yeah.
know that that series has a lot of love, so
Yeah.
hopefully it comes back.
Definitely.
Because
I'm trying to
I think
think of what
Nintendo could at least really do
franchises
a
they.
fairly cheap new a smaller game and release it on the an eShop exclusive game, just a new small Fire Emblem game for eShop. You know 7 to 8 hour small game. Well, it's a strategy game, so you'd think it would last longer than that, but you know what I mean. Um, I don't know. Maybe they'll. Let's see. What else might they do for mobile? Maybe just complete something completely original. Although,
Yeah. Well,
actually, I have a
on the
hard time.
Pokemon
Although the
side,
first
they've
one
done
was
good
Miitomo,
games there too.
I
Yeah.
imagine that most of the time, Nintendo's going to stick with established IP for its mobile games, simply because even with the Nintendo name, there's so much crap on mobile stores that you need that name recognition
Oh yeah.
for the visibility. So
Yeah. And
Kirby, Codename Z says Kirby. I think there's a lot of possibility there because Kirby can do anything, and that's a character that Nintendo seems to really like to experiment with. So
Kirby
I
Pinball.
like that suggestion, Codename. I think that's a great
I
idea.
would go with because they did what was it, was that Kirby Golf or something for on the SNES Classic? I forget
Oh,
the name of the game.
that's yeah, it's Kirby Dream Course, I believe.
Kirby Dream Course. Maybe
Yeah.
doing something like that,
Hmm.
or like a Kirby Pinball game would be kind of fun, or Metroid Pinball. They
You
could
know
do
what?
that on.
Put Pokemon Puzzle League on mobile and make money.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know,
Well, they've already got a number of Pokemon games. They've got Magikarp Jump. They have
that's true. That would be
Pokemon Shuffle. I think is
oh
I
yeah,
don't know. They have a
no,
Pokemon Match 3
oh
game.
you're right. That did move to mobile. That was originally a 3DS game, but that did move to mobile.
Yeah,
It was
and
a 3DS game with microtransaction elements, so it was kind
yeah,
of interesting. It
um,
was one of Nintendo's. It was one of the first toes Nintendo dipped into the pond. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and then Pokemon Go. But yeah, I think the Pokemon Company and Game Freak have a pretty good handle on their side of things. Um, Nintendo, yeah, they're releasing some good stuff. It's just, yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see what their next mobile game is. Because they so far, they have shown that they know what they're releasing and what works well on mobile. So, um, good on them for figuring it out.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they Nintendo seems to have learned that people don't want a premium game. People do
Yeah,
not want to just spend $10 on a game and call it a day. They want a game that they can dump hundreds of dollars into over time.
exactly. Which is kind of crazy.
Okay. Even Nintendo seemed kind of taken aback by that. They were like, "Really? Wait, really? You guys want games with microtransactions that you could spend hundreds of dollars on?" I mean, yeah, okay. That's going
Yeah,
to be profitable for us. Yay, but
yeah, and yeah,
really?
because there were a lot of people that surprisingly a lot of people there that they got to that that screen. It's like, to continue playing, you can buy the game for $10, and a lot of people are like, why would I want to spend $10 on this? And there were some people that were like,
I don't want to spend $10 for the whole game. I want to spend $1 for every level.
yeah,
That
but
would be $32. Why would you want that?
yeah, but there were some people that I actually talked to that were like, if Nintendo had just charged $10 up front, they would have bought it, but because they had a paywall in there, they weren't going to buy it.
Yeah,
And I'm
to be
just like,
fair, I think Nintendo a bit botched how it was selling Super Mario Run. and this may be a limitation of the various app stores, but it looks like a free game. So there was, unless you were in tune to like the Nintendo Direct or Nintendo's website,
Yeah,
you were probably blindsided by that sudden $10. It's like, oh, a free Mario game. Hey, this is fun. $10. What the hell? I mean, if you said it was a
yeah,
dollar for fine, but um, the, it was not clear on mobile devices that this is a $10 game. The first four levels are well, three and change are free.
yeah,
I don't know if there was a good way to get that across on mobile devices, but I think the inability to do that, or the fact that they didn't, whether they were able to or not, is a large contributing factor to why that game seemed so unpalatable to so many mobile
yeah,
gamers.
yeah, exactly. Um, but you know, that's just, I guess that's just the way that mobile game consumers have been conditioned. You know,
Yeah,
if Mario Run was a game where you had to use lives to continue on, like, you know, you can try, you know, play this level and it uses one life in order for each time you play the level, and if you run out of lives you have to wait 30 minutes for a new life, or you can buy 10 1-ups for
yeah.
a buck or something, you know.
Yeah. Maybe
People
it would have worked
probably
better
would.
if it would have been like a buck per world, you know, and
Mm,
maybe if worlds had more than
I
four
don't
levels each,
think
but
I don't think that would have done well either, because
yeah, it seems
that's
like
not
people don't
that's
like a
not what
flat fee, like I'm paying $1 and I get my thing and we're all done. It seems like I want
people
the
don't want to pay for the content.
right.
If they're going to pay, they are paying to advance faster through the content. Is typically what the mobile thing is.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be if they want to play all 8 worlds without spending any money, they want to be able to do that. But
So Super Mario Run completely free, but all the Starmen and Fireflowers and stuff are an extra
yeah,
whatever.
if you want more of those, you have to spend money, or you have to grind them in
Yeah.
the levels.
Or all the crap
Uh,
that you decorate the mushroom, the kingdom builder mode, all the crap that you decorate the kingdom with. Uh, you can spend in-game coinage on it, or you can buy 10,000 gold coins for $5, and
yeah,
then you know that kind of stuff seems to be. I hate that. Why? I don't like that at all.
yeah.
It seemed to be in
Well,
the
it's like
minority on
with
that one, though.
you know, Magikarp Jump. I played through that entire game completely free. Of course,
Yeah.
I did do some cheats on there because it was available and it sped things up so fast. But
Yeah, I beat Pokemon Picross on the 3DS, 100%ed it, and didn't spend a dime. It took me 10
yeah,
months, but but because it's one of those
I
games that it's like wait to play again. You can't play again for another
yeah,
2 hours.
I played Pokemon Shuffle for a while, but even it got to a point where um, I couldn't even B rank some of these Pokemon puzzles, and I reached a point where I was only capturing like 1 out of 5 Pokemon, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. Because it's like you beat a Pokemon, and it's like, even if some of these Pokemon, even if you beat them with like an S rank, you only have like a 30% chance with a regular Pokeball to catch them, and then it costs like it was like 3,500 Pokejewels or whatever they were to use a Great Ball on them. And even then, that only went up like another 40% chance. And yeah, I got kind of tired of all that.
Yeah, Codenames Z is asking if there was any microtransactions in Wii U games. I said I didn't think so, but he's talking about a game from Bamco, which was um, Lost Reavers. Actually, I had to pull I had to pull up my Wii U to see what the hell it was called. So Lost Reavers is the game you're thinking of, which was a free to play game on the Wii U, And I think it does have like some microtransaction elements to it. I forget how it works because I played it once and I thought it was just kind of not great. Um, and I can't even really talk about it more than that because that's how my brain works. If there's something I don't like, I recall that I didn't like it, but I expunge all other details because I don't care. Dave had a pretty good thought on why people like one type of payment scheme generally seem to gravitate towards one payment scheme for mobile applications rather than others, and says that it's a mental trick. The game is free, but hey, you can spend as much as you want to go faster. Don't have to, but and that's it's probably that. I mean, it's probably the same type of thing where everything is priced and 99 cents, because if something's $4.99, it's like you go home and someone says, "Hey, how much was the thing?" "Oh, it's $4." No, it's $5. It's $4.99. It's like, $1.99 sounds a hell of a lot cheaper than $200. And it's $1, but it has that effect.
Yeah.
So it's probably something similar. It's like, I don't ever have to pay anything. It's completely free. It's like, I'll just spend $1 here. It's fine. It's $1. It's $1. I'll just spend another $1. And before long, you've spent way more than you ever would have spent in the first place. And I guess I'm just so practically minded that stuff never works on me. It's why I have such a problem watching movies sometimes, is because my brain will get stuck on dumb stuff. It's like, well, I was talking to my sister about Wonder Woman earlier this morning, and Steve Trevor's plane crashes into the ocean, and she's like, "Hey, a shooting star or whatever. I don't know what a plane is. So something crashed into the water. I'm gonna go get it." And she jumps off an 80-foot cliff and then swims out to the. There's no shot of her swimming out there, but I can imagine Diana dog paddling because it makes me laugh. I mean, she has this gorgeous dive and she goes on under the water, and I'm sitting there thinking, I bet she's doing a dog paddle. Probably not, but it amuses me to think of Diana doing this. So Steve Trevor's stuck in the plane, and the cockpit of the plane breaks off the rest of the fuselage and starts sinking, and he hears a crunch from the fuselage above him. He turns around and he looks, and he sees the silhouette of Wonder Woman standing on top of the fuselage, looking down at him, and it's just her silhouette, and it's a gorgeous, beautiful shot. And I'm sitting there in the theater thinking, wait a minute, she swam all the way over there and then climbed up on top of the wreckage to stare down at him for a cool shot and then jump in. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, no, maybe I guess she didn't know there was a person in it. She just saw a big hunk of metal, and you're at this level in the water. It's like, I'm going to crawl out on top of this so I can survey what this thing is. And oh, hey, a dude. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, 3 minutes of the movie have passed at this point. I'm like, oh, wait, what? What's going on? So dumb crap just pulls me out of movies all the time, and I suck at watching movies. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy them, but sometimes I get fixated on stupid things, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy Wonder Woman as much as, well, my sister did and a lot of other people, because there is so much stuff in Wonder Woman that pulls me out of the movie. I'm sitting there and I go, well, wait, what? no, wait a minute. And it's stuff that individually absolutely doesn't matter. But it's just weird little things that just pull me out of the movie, and after a 2 hour and change movie, I'm like, I was just, yanked back and forth and constantly out of the movie. It's like, what'd you think? I thought it was okay. Really? It's not any better than that? It's like, I just kept getting pulled out of the movie, but dumb stuff. So, although there is a like an armadillo or something wandering around Themyscira, which was like my favorite part of the movie. I'm like, oh my God, there's an armadillo over there. Hey, look at that. Awesome. Anyway. But still, just imagine Diana, Princess of Themyscira, doggy paddling. It's just such a wonderful image. I love it. Anyway, that is our show for the evening, and there is no podcast next weekend, but there is the Extra Life charity event. So if you come back here at exactly this time, I will be right there playing video games, and if I'm wearing a blue polka dot dress, that means we've raised $1,000 for Rady Children's Hospital. So that would be awesome. So if you want to make a donation, go over to extralife.org. There's a hyphen between extra and life. Search for my name and make a donation. And Zachary, plug away, because I'll do a little bit bigger plug here in a sec.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, where I talk about game stuff, politics, and other things that capture my attention. You can also follow my game development work, DK_gaming, DivineKnightGaming.com. There hasn't been a lot of activity there lately, just because I've had a lot of computer issues and other stuff going on. But hopefully that will pick up here pretty quick. And then finally, if you're interested in what's happening in Oklahoma regarding game development, check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and okgamedev.com.
All right. Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube. You'll find my YouTube videos. At Andrew Eisen is my Twitter. And if you go to the Extra Life page, extra-life.org, plug that in there. You'll find my fundraising page. We've raised $476 so far, hoping to raise a cool $1,000 for Rady Children's Hospital. So make donations there. Tax deductible. All monies go to Rady Children's. And lots of interesting donation incentives and stretch goals. The $1,000 goal being, if we raise $1,000, I will. Where's the? Yeah, I will wear this dress for the entire marathon. Not kidding. I totally will. I tried it on and everything, and it doesn't fit because this dress, some reason, was not built for someone of my particular physique. I mean, this thing zips up the side, and I can only get it to like the bottom of my rib cage. So we had to go to visit the fabric section at Walmart and get some creativity going, because otherwise there's this. And I can't even come close. I mean, it's not like just, close it at the top and pin it together with a safety pin, because it's like 8 to 10 inches away. I cannot get this thing close. But at least nice. I didn't break the dress trying to put it on. My sister brought 2 dresses, and I ripped the other one trying to get it on, and I feel kind of bad about it. But anyway, so with or without bra, I don't need the support, so without. Yeah. Sexy, right? That's right. I'm wearing a dress with no bra, so I might be towing the line of Twitch's terms of service here with the sexy, but I think I'm going to be okay.
You think?
I think it'd be terrible if my charity marathon got shut down because I'm wearing a dress like a goofball. It's like, no, those shoes do not go with that dress. We are canceling your account, sir. Sorry, no. Anyway, so next weekend, Saturday, November 4th, starts at noon Pacific Standard Time, goes to noon the next day. My sister will be here. I'll be here. I'll try to stay awake. Super Metal Dave will be here from about 5 to 7 Saturday evening. So look forward to that. We'll be playing a lot of Super Mario Odyssey. And I've got a bunch of other games that we can play. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you folks, if you can't donate, please show up and say hi in the chat. I'd much appreciate it, especially in the wee small hours of the morning, because that's the hard part. So I know a bunch of you are on the other side of the pond, so help me keep awake in the wee small hours of the morning. It'd be much appreciated. Okay, that's it for us. Thanks for watching Molehill Mountain, and hope to see you all next week for the Extra Life Charity Marathon. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.